ready to go?
Yes, let's do this.
Yeah. Hey you guys, this is Music Talk on the MD2 Producers Tune and hitparade.ch. With me now, still at the Greenfield Festival, Neil from the great band called Clutch. Hi Neil.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
I need to tell that normally in general we are having the interviews before the gigs, but right now the gig has just ended, and it was so much power, so much stoner blues, hard rock. It was so great. Is that always the case when you guys go on stage?
Well, I would like to think so, but we've been playing very late shows in nightclubs all week long, so it was almost like playing getting out of bed. But it was nice. It was absolutely gorgeous scenery to look at, and the cool breeze, and it was great. It was a good change of pace for us because, like I said, we've been in some pretty hot nightclubs.
In this very European tour?
Just this past 3-4 shows in Germany. Just some underground clubs with no windows or doors, and just really brutal. But hey, I'd rather have it like that than cold. Yes, sure.
Have you been to the Greenfield Festival once?
Never. This would be our first time.
That's the first time. And have you played in Switzerland? Or is that also
we played in Switzerland a number of times, but not as often as we have, let's say, in Germany or Scandinavia.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, which is in a way obvious, since that these are much larger countries.
Yeah.
You guys are coming from beautiful Maryland, eastern state, and you are still concerning. If you ask journalists that always try and like to put bands and musical styles into boxes, they would consider you as being close to the blues, closer than other hard rock bands to the blues. What does the blues in 2014 still mean to the music?
I think it's more important than ever, and I think, at least speaking for myself, the older I get, the more I appreciate sort of the long lineage of rock and roll. Nowadays, you have a lot of bands that are emulating each other, and it can get confusing and kind of lost and set adrift. But when you listen to the blues, which is where all rock comes from, even if you're an extreme metal band, you wouldn't be an extreme metal band without the blues ultimately. So when we listen to these bands, Muddy Waters, and then listen to how they affected Black Sabbath or Led Zeppelin, to me that's much more potent than listening to our contemporaries. And there's plenty of great bands out there now. It's just I find the people who invented it, their music is still more powerful than ours. And
it's in a way maybe even more honest.
It is. Well, I think it was more honest because they certainly weren't doing it for the money.
Yes.
They weren't thinking, I'm going to write a sad blues song and become a millionaire.
Yeah, but that is more one of the reasons for my question, because the blues started to have reasoning when it was about singing about trouble, people that had this blues had, and nowadays it's not so much of an issue anymore.
Yeah, I think, of course, there's commercial blues just like there's commercial anything else. But anywhere in the world at any given time, I think there's probably fantastic music being made. It's just we don't hear it, and it's easy. It's so overwhelming these days because of the internet. Because there's so much out there, and it's hard to find those gems. But they're there. I have no doubt that they are.
No, so these are good parts or good parts of the internet, of the digital world, and yet the analog world has still its reason, and I learned that you guys have also recorded albums explicitly on analog tape. So how does that go?
It's harder. We were kind of late coming to digital, and we use it, but we kind of set parameters to it. You could, do 96 tracks and cut and paste everything you want, and when all is said and done, it's no longer a song.
Yeah.
It's a mosaic of digital information, and there's something about that immediacy of a take, even if it's imperfect. I think it's the imperfections that's where you find beauty. If everything's perfect, it gets very annoying. for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah, but you're still recording to multi-track, or trying to do 1 to 2 tracks directly, or
Earth Rocker was very. I mean, that was digital. I mean, that wasn't straight to tape at all.
yes,
We just did a 7-inch, where we did that. But we usually will dump it when all is said and done onto tape
yes,
before it goes to mastering, just because there's something about the random events that occur with little bits of magnetized metal, or the random events that occur in a vacuum tube, that I think add a bit of chaos to the sound ultimately, that you don't get with a bunch of ones and zeros.
which is very charming, of course. Did you hear about that project of Jack White doing this instant vinyl recording?
Yeah, I just saw a picture of that thing. It's interesting.
That's very interesting. That's weird. I mean, they had the set, and it was really directly pressed to a CD.
I think a couple weeks ago, he and Neil Young on there was a late show in David Letterman maybe, or Jimmy Fallon. There's
no relation, by the way.
No relation. Well, maybe somewhere down the line.
Maybe so, far away, but he's from New York.
I think he did a song on the TV show right there on the spot.
I think it was with Jimmy Fallon. Yes.
Yeah.
Where they on the spot they recorded it, and then they distributed the vinyl to the fans 2 hours later.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it's not something that everybody can do.
Well, probably
Jack White can do it.
Jack White can do it. You guys are from the East Coast of the States, of course. Are you from Baltimore directly, or
I used to live in Baltimore.
Yeah.
We live kind of halfway between Baltimore and Washington, D.C.
Yes.
I live closer to Washington, D.C. now.
Okay. And when did you buy your first GoGo LP?
Mm-hmm. I don't think I ever owned a GoGo LP because all my friends owned them. So I could listen to theirs. But growing up, you heard GoGo in junior high school at football games, and you hear it it was much bigger in the 80s. And it's
Boston
still
loose.
You can still hear it here and there, but definitely it formed John Paul's drumming style and signature for sure.
Boston Loose from Chuck Brown was one of my first LPs in the 80s.
Oh, nice.
And I was really amazed when I listened to the sound, the track number 4, which is called DC Sound Attack, which all of a sudden in the middle of the song comes up with this go-go style rhythm. So that's by purpose, of course. So
that was something we were doing live, in certain songs we would just jam, kind of a go-go jam, because it's easy and it's fun.
Yes.
And we never had it really on a record, so we decided it would be a perfect song to do that on. And the title DC Sound Attack is taken from a bit of artwork on a very classic go-go record.
Yes.
It's called Paint the White House Black, and it has a little star on it that says the DC Sound Attack. So that's where it's borrowed from. And the song is about sort of politics and war in the background of go-go, which is only really found in Washington, D.C. for whatever reason.
Yes.
And I thought it was an interesting dichotomy.
You have the line Drop the Bomb, which is originally a song by Trouble Funk, I recall.
That's correct. Drop the Bomb was one of Trouble Funk's signature things, where they had a keyboard and it would go...
Yes. Oh, I love this.
We heard it. It's go-go is the best party music. It could if you're not in the mood for it, it can also be the most annoying music. But we're usually usually in the mood for it.
Neil, you are also with your band famous for your great lyrics. So that is also in a kind unusual for bands with hard guitar riffs. So you always have this kind of ironic, not always probably, but sometimes one can feel that you have a big emphasis and you concentrate on good lyrics. Would you be flattered if anyone would say, well, Mr. Zappa came also from Baltimore? Maybe there is some relation in that?
Who?
Zappa?
Oh, yeah. Zappa, he's one of those artists where there's moments of genius, and there's also stuff that I find completely unlistenable.
Yeah.
But that was by his design.
Yes.
Yes. So he had, a sense of humor that I think is important, because...
Yes.
I like some serious artists, but I can't take myself too seriously, and I always approach lyrics as fiction. That way you can say whatever you want and no one can say you're wrong.
Yeah, but that's why I ask, because I find some similarities in the way lyrics are used in a rock song.
Yeah, I think he was probably somewhat of an influence. I'm also a huge Tom Waits fan, and recently started really listening to a lot of Leonard Cohen, which is probably becoming my favorite lyricist, for a lot of the same reasons. There's a sense of humor, and there's a dark sense of humor.
A dark sense of humor. Neil, thank you very much for your time.
Sure.
And please come back soon.
We will.
It was really a very great show, and please...
We'd like to come here more often. It's beautiful.
Yes, thank you. And this was the Music Talk on the MD2, Produces Tune, and hitparade.ch. Cheers, you guys.